Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Final Whistle. My name is Pila Batode and I'll be looking after you guys today while Sanani's away. So, gentlemen, first up, we're going to start talking about the rugby. Over the weekend, we had the Rugby Championship. Springboks won. Okay, we can focus on the positives and then we can look at the negatives. What are your positives for you this weekend in the Rugby Championship?
Well, it's always going to be first things first. I mean, win is always a positive, whether you win ugly or not. So, I mean, that is a good thing to look at, that the guys did win the game. So that's the real positive. The other positive for me is that Andre Pollard is showing a bit more form, or at least had a better game. I think he kicked 100% of his kicks and was actually attacking the line well. So, I mean, those are two positives I can take from that particular game.
Cesar, what did you see?
I'm seeing a more cohesive performance from our loose forwards. As much as Unoche was the new guy in the team, if I can call him that, I'm seeing more cohesion between Usia, Peter Steph du Toit. I was very, very happy with those two. And also our defense, for me, is also looking much more better in terms of our shape. As much as we're not the finished product yet, I can see it coming together.
Okay, no, cool. Speaking of Peter Steph du Toit, I mean, earlier on this season, or actually last year even, we were kind of not happy or complaining about the fact that Peter Steph is a lock. And now, currently, he's been kind of making that number 7 jersey his. Yes. I mean, he's growing into that open side, blind side flanker. And for me, I saw hints of him looking like Smith back in the days. The one who was playing for Eland was under Jake White. I mean, it's a big call, but I mean, there were hints of it. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts in terms of the number 7 jersey for the Springboks?
Look, he has done well. I think he's leading the tackles at the Rugby Championship at the moment. So he's putting a lot of tackles for the team. He probably has been called it the yeoman for the guys really putting in the hard yards. So that's really been positive on his side. In terms of whether he's my favorite number 7 whether we have in the country, I mean, that's probably a question for another day, because I still believe Captain Usia is preferred 7 than 6, but I mean, we'll work with the combos we have for now.
Cesar,
for me, he's really impressed me. He's sort of settled in the role, knowing that at the moment there's no one else that's eating away at his heels. And I think that's the main reason why he's settled in and he's doing his job. I mean, it's almost as if Rusty has told him that, listen, this is what I want from you, and he goes out and does it. And for me, that's the most impressive part about him at the moment.
Are they combining well, or do we have a loose trio that's actually combining well? Because now we know Usia is going to start. We know now Peter Steph is definitely going to start at 7. Number 8 position. Yes, we know Flo is not around, but who else is basically solidifying the number 8 role currently without Flo? Let's say Flo gets injured next season again.
The number 8 role?
Yes, number 8.
Flo, Dwayne.
Dwayne, sorry.
Okay, cool.
Did the Flo, sorry.
Dwayne. So, and I think that's the thing, because I mean, Warren Whiteley did have a good game against All Blacks. So I mean, he really showed why he was actually made a Bok in the first place. So, I mean, he put his hand up there. Unoche, even though he didn't play very long against Australia, actually put in a solid performance. I
think so as well.
And also, it wasn't the kind of game where he gets his expensive play and actually does what he does well, his strengths. But in terms of what he was asked to do, I think he's done very well. So, I mean, you can keep him in the mix there. And that's kind of how you're kind of sitting at the moment. Is that I think, as you say, a lot of it relies on Dwayne. Because I think once, for instance, it's going to World Cup next year and we're saying that, okay, Dwayne is available, then all of a sudden you start opening up the options as, okay, do I then have the option now of moving Sia to 7, and then getting someone else in at 6? Or am I happy with Dwayne, Peter Steph du Toit and the Sia combination, I mean, looking at this weekend's game, there were moments, I mean, I think David Pocock did some really great work on the ground. So at the breakdown, I think we're still a yard off in terms of where I'd like us to be, and that's usually the role of an open side flanker.
So you want someone to...
And again, so I really want someone who plays more to the ball.
Cesar, what do you see at number 8 without Dwayne?
So the one thing that I am happy about is that we are creating depth in the number 8 position. So I'm very happy that Us Kumbuza finally got a start at number 8 to show what he can do.
Yeah.
I'd like for him to get maybe another start at the end of the year. if not this weekend, if Warren is not back. And also, obviously, Warren at 8, I've been impressed with him. He's sort of stepped up, especially against Ilanduk, the All Blacks.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're building depth in the position. Dwayne back whenever he comes back. We'll have 3 quality 8s, and I think it would put us in good stead for next year's World Cup.
Go, I want to come back to you. You spoke about rotation. We have a situation currently in the Springbok setup where our number 9 is not getting substituted or replaced.
Yeah.
He seems to be playing a full 8.
In fact, we trust clearly.
In fact, we do trust. Yeah. So, I mean, what is your opinion regarding us not having a replacement for Faf de Klerk currently?
Yeah, I think, as you'd know, I've been pretty clear and vocal about my opinion on Faf as an overall 9. Okay, I still really believe that, as much as he's great as a player on the field, there's just, from a primary role perspective, certain aspects of his game that I'm not happy about. For instance, his box kicking is still a big concern for me. And then also just his general getting the back line away. So some will say he's fast, I'll say he's erratic. But going back to, again, the whole rotation thing, I think we have missed an opportunity in giving Papier a go, if he is actually the guy that Rassi is banking for the future, which I'm sure he is, because I don't think he'd be wasting the guy's time like that. So I do understand that there were dynamics that happened in Mendoza, and then that also affected the Australasian tour. But I think even within those particular games, there could have been opportunities where you could have given him a go just to actually get the caps up and get the feel of being with the guys on the team. Because, again, Sisa mentioned earlier, is that nothing kills form like being on the bench.
Yes, I was going to get to Sisa now,
actually. That's a concern for him as well, in that particular position. I know when you look at basically who else we got in the batch, you got Ross Skriniar, you got Ivan van Zyl, and then as call it a Hail Mary kind of play, you've still got Ron Pina, But I don't think it's someone who'll be considered going forward into the future. But
yeah.
I think what would be critical going to the end of year tour is that a guy like Papier, if he is the money man for Rassi going forward after de Klerk, gets a bit more game time in the end of year tour and actually build his confidence as a Springbok.
Sisa, how important is it for a player to get game time under his belt?
So I'm a person that believes in game time. Game time is a primary factor in a professional player's sort of attitude that he brings to the field, that he brings to a team setup.
Yeah.
So I believe that Rassi has an idea of what he wants. He has Ivan van Zyl, he has Ambrose Papier, he has Ross Skriniar, then he has Faf. What I believe he's trying to do, but he's doing it off the field, is my worry. He's trying to build depth in the 9 position with those 4, but he's doing it off the field with 3 extra halfbacks. Faf has played every single minute from the England tests, and for me it's worrying. It's worrying when Papier finally does get a game. What's going to happen?
Yeah, it'll be cameras, lights, pressure.
Will he be able to handle the pressure? We'll see. But that's my biggest worry. And I said earlier, I would have enjoyed if Rassi knew that this is what he wanted to do. I would have enjoyed to see him in 1 or 2 Currie Cup games to build match fitness, to build confidence, so that when he is needed in the green and gold, then at least he is sharp.
Because it doesn't help you sitting on the bench for 80 minutes. Looking at the breakdown, guys, there's Ulumfan, Pocock for Australia open side. How pivotal was he at the breakdown this weekend?
Yeah.
Like you said, you want a player like a Pocock in your team. Mm-hmm. Why is that? Because at the end of the day, how much difference is it that an open side flanker causes or disrupts in a game, in an 80-minute game? Because looking at the current rules situation, it doesn't really allow him to have a lot of opportunities, because the refs give a contest at right time. So how important is it for us to go out there and look for a particular person to be a fetcher full time for 80 minutes?
And I think that's the thing, Pilar. We're not saying we're looking for an out-and-out fetcher, of course. So someone who's actually really going to go there and get you the ball all the time. What you do want is a 6 that's going to play to the ball, so that he's going to be able to slow it down, but also when you've got it, he's going to be able to protect it. And that's a key thing around that. So it's not about we just want one particular variable, which is fetch us a ball. We want other key variable, which is play to the ball, so that you protect our ball, but also you give us an opportunity to get their ball. And if you're not getting their ball, at least slow down their ball. I mean, looking at Pocock this particular weekend in terms of how important it was, he did really well in slowing down our ball and actually stealing a lot of our ball a couple of times, okay, which to the rest of the team really affects our momentum and how we play. Okay, and if you can even take it back to, I think, when they played the World Cup with him and Hooper, the last World Cup, and I think the real talk at that particular time is that it's actually Hooper and Pocock who've kept Australia in this game from the start. But otherwise, from a contest perspective, it's really actually always been the All Blacks. So that's where my particular concern is for our current setup, in terms that we don't have a six who's actually playing to the ball. Sia is obviously having to adapt to the role, but naturally, I mean, as a seven, once, I mean, the adrenaline's pumping, you're doing what you're doing, you go back to what you know.
Cesar, what are your thoughts? I mean, we look at the All Blacks, we look at England, Irish, okay, Wales. I mean, they don't have a Pocock and a Hooper type player. They have ball carriers.
But they've got a Sam Cane.
Who has the same Cane?
The New Zealanders.
No, man, no, Sam Cane is not even a fetcher.
No, but Sam Cane plays to the ball. That's what I'm saying. Not fetching, but playing to the ball.
I mean, how much?
Ireland have got a standard who plays to the ball.
He's more ball carrying than that.
But thing is that
but everyone else on the field can actually go play to the ball. If we're defending, I mean, look at a Brody Retallick, a tackle situation.
So again, it's about style of play. Right? Our style of play, for me, at the moment, I don't think Urasi wants that type of loose forward, and the evidence is there. He's chosen a Peter Steph du Toit, who generally is a lock that doesn't play towards the ball. He's chosen Usia to play six. He's chosen an eighth man in Whiteley and in Skhumbuzo Noche, who also like to play out wide. So we always seem to talk about Malcolm Marx, who is supposed to be playing that type of role, but I haven't seen him do it quite effectively. Or as effectively as we want him to do it. So for me, they'd have to play more games. Maybe if that's what they want, they have to play more games and actually concentrate and actually focus on doing that. If not, then they have to find other ways in making sure that Pocock and them are not threats.
I think it just, even on Rassi's situation, the question you'd like to pose to Rassi is that, Rassi, if you had all your loose forwards available, would you actually still keep the same composition you have, or are you actually forced into your current selection that you got? Because again, when he had, I think when Sia was playing seven, Francois Lowe was playing six. So it seems to be that if Francois Lowe is fit, Sia goes to seven and Francois goes six.
He's been brought back for this weekend.
Brought back for this particular weekend. So you're assuming that you probably are going to see Francois Lowe coming back in the mix again. Then you go in wide and start saying things like, okay, well, when Marcel Coetzee starts getting more game time behind him, okay, and a guy like Jean-Luc Duplessis is also fit, and now he's got even a bigger pot to choose from. What becomes his that's Jean-Luc Duplessis.
All the mistakes in the world are happening today.
that becomes his selection pot of players. So I mean, it's probably premature for us now to actually say that that's how he wants to play, versus are you playing like that because that's how you want to play, or you actually forced
you don't have
it? I mean, it's very interesting because again, our loose forward combinations haven't been the same for more than 2 weeks in a row. If I'm not mistaken. Against England, we were chopping and changing. I think in the Rugby Championship, we've also been forced to chop and change. So. It is a difficult situation that
for me personally, after the New Zealand win, one would think that Rassi must stick to that team until we lose the next game. But currently, after the New Zealand win, you sort of have an idea of who is your starting 15 or starting 23. So I'm thinking to myself, at least that guy what he should do is just keep the same 23 coming this against Australia, same 23 against New Zealand at Loftus. Don't forget to join in on the conversation. #BeyondTheFinalWhistle. You can follow us at @grit_sports.